it's Kendall. New around here, welcome. Not new around here, what's up, home? Skilly biscuit. October got hands. It seems like everybody around me is having some like crazy thing happen, and I have not left this month unscathed. And I want to put shimmery things on my face. Also, again, you guys seem to like my last Get Ready With Me. It was the first one I'd done in a hot minute. I tend to like to do them particularly when I'm crashing out because I find that my makeup looks really good. Also, though, I got something in PR, baby. Miss Myrix sent me the Lightwork volume, what a Roman number, 7. I wanted the last one so bad, but I got there too late. And I've said this before, and I still feel this way. It's been a while, and I think for the last several years, Danessa Myrix has been the brand for me, specifically. It feels like a brand that makes and keeps makeup interesting and fun. Not in like a kitschy, kiddie way, but in a way that's like very user-friendly, but also look at it. Look at it. Like, don't get me wrong. I like kitschy and campy. I literally just did a video using a palette named after random turd names. So this is a palette that is technically 3 palettes or more because you can take each shade out. Name on the back. Yes, me being a beauty guru again. Work. Not that being upside down. Okay. Oh, it's called Northern Lights. We lean closer in our seats. There's nothing but you and me. We're totally astronomical. Brighter than the northern lights. You're in every color. And I just want you here with me. It's always funny when people find that song and find out it's me. If you've heard that song before, that's my song, okay. So you can take the shades out and mix and match them, and then it comes with like this cute little, this thing that you can use to make mini palettes. It's such a good idea! I am fascinated by this. Oh my God, it looks purple on camera. In person, it's pink. I am fascinated by this like romantic, but also this blue is hitting. I'll figure something out. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. Play around, rant, rave, because again, October's been kicking my ass. And just relax, do your makeup with me if you're going somewhere, or even if you're not, if you're just trying to have some makeup therapy as well. As you get your brushes out or get a little drinky drink, I got my coffee. I'm gonna send it over to Admiral Kennie. Thank you. Hello everyone, it's Admiral Kennie, and today's video is sponsored by Trade Coffee, the #1 coffee destination in the US for all my fellow coffee heads. They source the best beans from over 50 roasters across the United States and deliver them to your door, either in a single purchase, or you can get their subscription service where you can try out new stuff all the time. Are you a hot or a cold coffee person? I like both. I'm partial to a cold coffee, particularly a cold brew, and today that's what I did. I made cold brew out of the Portrait Coffee Southern Hospitality blend, which is actually made specifically for cold brew, and it has this really nutty, rich, chocolatey, almost brown sugary notes that works really well in that format. And Trade Coffee is teamed up with 15 roasters for a special collection devoted entirely to cold brew, and even offer easy to use curated gear for that so that you can get coffee that is cafe level at home. Take their quiz. It takes under a minute so that you can figure out what types of coffee you prefer for your lifestyle and tastes. And if the first bag isn't hitting the way you would like it, rest assured, Trade Coffee will replace it for free until they get it right. And Trade Coffee is right now offering 50% off of a 1-month trial if you go to drinktrade.com/KennieJD in the link down below. That's drinktrade.com/KennieJD for 50% off 1 month. Big thanks again to Trade for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get on to the debauchery, baby. Yeah, October has been balls, but also really great too. It's been balls booty, but also like a lot of changes and growing pains. My therapist, been a road dog for 5 years. They come through. Because I've been seeing her a lot. I don't know if it's the change in weather. I don't know if it's, they start cutting the antidepressants with sugar or whatever RFK has people doing, people taking too much Tylenol. And it's been like big stuff, things that make you reflect on your life and the state of the world. And it's been coming in like various different directions, and it's just been a lot. Sometimes you just want everything to shut the fuck up for a little bit. Hence, painting on my face. I've also been doing things that makes me think about the future a lot, as far as like if I want to have kids, when I want to have kids, you know, and all that. It's stressing me out, okay? The state of the world, it's very ghetto. There's unregulated AI usage. The president of the I'm sorry, I don't want to go too much into politics because that makes me feel worse, which defeats the purpose of doing this video. But the president of the United States shared a fucking AI video of him in a fighter jet lowering tons of literal shit, literal feces onto protesters. And this is the timeline we're in. This is the timeline we're in. I know for a fact I don't want to have a kid during this regime. I don't want to have a kid in this. That I know. I'm not having a kid in at least the next 3 years. But knowing them, they'll try for longer. But with that said, I'm 30. I have been planning for the last like 5 or so years. When I turn 30, I want to freeze my eggs. And so I've been doing that process, and it's so involved. No one warned me that at all, that it's gonna be so much to do, so much preparation, so much money. Jesus Christ. Because a lot of insurances don't cover it. Mine doesn't. So it's been doing the process has been very taxing in a lot of ways. Granted, my fertility doctor seems to be like a great person. He seems to be really good at his job. He's very knowledgeable and he's very good at educating about everything. So that's been great and fascinating, and as a nerd I think that's just really cool. Being that we're talking about like long term, what do I want to do, it gets you kind of thinking about the state that you're bringing your kid into, the world that you're bringing your kid into. And granted, it does make me sit there and say like, oh, do I even want to do this? But then also it's like, I can't let the idiots win. They keep having so many fucking kids. The trad people have so many fucking kids. The people having the most kids are like some super right-wing trad family that's like, this is our job. We're quiverful or whatever the fuck. Our job is to have as many kids as soldiers for Christ. And it's like, fuck. And also I interesting. Okay. I didn't realize I felt this way. I feel like I have this realization like every 3 months. I'm like, oh yeah, I do want to be a mom. Because I was thinking, because like all my life I've kind of felt like not indifferent to kids, but I felt like so much of that is contingent on who I'm having this child with. And I was dating a bunch of fucking losers for most of my life, and it's like, yeah, I'm not having a kid with that dude. So, and now I've been in a committed relationship for almost 2 years. Time flies. We're at like a year and a half, so I guess 18 months, a toddler our relationship is. And so as we get closer to that 2-year mark, you know, we're talking more seriously, more long-term, like what does that mean? What type of environment, what type of family do we want to build? And that's really exciting. And it's also very nerve-wracking in and of itself, because again, when you date fucking losers, you don't have to worry about like, oh, okay, he's a loser, it's fine, it's over. But no, I actually like love you and whatever. So, but that creates its own like nerve-wracking thing. Put MAC Painterly paint pot on my eyes, and I'm gonna go in like kind of mauve-y pink down here. First knew that I was gonna freeze my eggs back in like, I want to say like 5 or 6 years ago. I saw a random video where someone, like one of the influencers I follow, brought on a gynecologist, and they got to talking about, you know, reproductive health, and if you're planning on having a family, like what are best timelines, so to speak. And the interviewer was like 31 or so at the time, and she asked the doctor, like, when do you think people should start freezing their eggs or considering freezing their eggs? And she said, at 30. I would start doing it around that time. And now I'm watching this, I'm like 25 at the time, and I'm like, that's a lot closer than I expected. So that kind of like put the fear of God in me a little bit. And so I've always had that kind of like looming in the background. And I knew at 30, there's certain things that I want to do for myself. And I want to get my eggs frozen. So even before I met my partner, this was my like plan of life, is that I was going to freeze my eggs. But even with that being the case, it's been really draining. Because the process, again, is more involved than anyone ever warned me for. If you don't know what this is probably so boring for people that don't give a fuck about fertility. But alas, it's my get ready with me, bitch. What happens is you go in, or at least this is what's happened for me so far. That's, I guess, what I can say. You go in, you talk to the doctor, they give you the whole rundown, figure out if your insurance pays for anything. They did a bunch of ultrasounds on my ovaries, to take a bunch of supplements and a bunch of hormones and birth control. And there's a lot about timing, like when you are on your cycle doing certain things, when you're not on your cycle doing certain things. When the moon is in a particular position in relation to the sun, you take birth control and stuff. It's like, it's very like time and tedious. If you're afraid of needles, a bunch of the medication is injectables that you have to do before the procedure. I haven't had the procedure done yet. I was going to do it this month, but apparently my ovaries are having a party and they don't want that right now. My ovaries are like, jump in, which I guess if I were currently trying to get pregnant, that would be good, but they want all the energy to stay into the eggs so they get real fat and plump so that they can extract big, fat, nourished eggs out of my ovaries. And if one of them is like fatter than the others, then the other ones are weaker. And then there's just this one that was supposed to be inseminated. And then you go under anesthesia. They go in to your coochie, suck out the eggs, and there you go. And then prior to that, you pay them like $13,000. But I know it'll be worth it. It's very annoying though, and I don't want to do it again. If I can avoid doing it again, bet. So let's get the best selection of eggs. Golden goose me, bitch. So yeah, that's been one of my stressors. Also, a lot of people around me have been going through a lot of like health stuff, and it's very, again, with the state of the world, it's like, it's scary. Part of the reason why I don't prefer to talk at length about the state of the current regime is because I feel like I have nothing substantive to add. I don't have anything to encourage people. Like, I could sit here and like, yeah, it'll all be all right. I don't fucking know. And I am trying to learn more about what are things that I can do actionably as a singular person. But I also don't want to get on my platform and like bum everybody out because I'm like, yeah, I don't know, we're fucked. Fascism isn't a new concept. Would have loved for it to stay in books. And like, oh, that's crazy back then. That's so wild, but it's not. Like, we learned. And also it just feels like silly to be doing stupid shit like putting makeup on your face. But then there's also people like, I've seen Kat Black, who, a creator I love, and she's on, she's said on like her social media, she's a trans Black woman who grew up in very like conservative spaces, and growing up in that context, you build a certain level of, I guess, resiliency, but also just like certain expectations or having lack of expectations of the state giving a fuck about you. One of the things that she's said is like, I know how many people want me to be miserable and scared right now, and I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna get dressed up and be hot. Yeah, being a bad bitch is resistance. So I'm putting this shit on my eye. Oh my god, it's so pretty. Oh my god, it's so pretty. Ooh! Oh! Ooh! Okay, so this is the color right above it, which is like basically the same color, but it's BBL cousin. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's... Ah! Clair Obscure. Oh, I can talk about that. I started playing Clair Obscure when I was in a bad headspace. Don't do that. Don't do that. But it was also very cathartic. And the game is very vibey, moody. I've been meaning to play it since it came out. My boyfriend loved it immediately. And a bunch of people around me was like, whoa, this is game of the year type shit. And I was like, oh, I'll get around to it. Never got around to it. Finally did. So good! And I barely started. I'm only maybe 2 hours into it. It's so fucking good. Oh my god, it's so good. If you don't know what Clair Obscure is, it's like a turn-based RPG with some like real-time dodging stuff. And it's set in this kind of like French fantasy world. It's from a French company. Group of people, this village of people, are subject to this thing called the Paintress, which is like a deity, so to speak, that sleeps throughout the year. For the last 67 years, they have watched as she painted from 100 progressively lower each year. And whoever is that age at that year dies. They turn into flowers and they just disintegrate. They call it the gommage, where they've turned it into sort of a festival of life of sorts. But everyone is kind of like, this sucks. How do we stop this? So also they do expeditions with the same numbers who are trying to defeat the Paintress and stop the cycle of sacrifice. I cried in the first 20 minutes. And I said, this is gonna bust. Not in the place right now. Not in the place to take this because I can't do this right now. Obscenely beautiful game. The music feels like you're floating all day with this morose French Clair Obscure. It feels almost nostalgic in a way. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. The fighting mechanics, I'm still not the best at parrying. I've gotten a lot better since my last video, which is 4 weeks ago. Still not great. and it relies a lot on dodge parry type shit. I'm better at dodging. I definitely think it's gonna be in the running for game of the year. Games have been really good the last 5-6 years. Where movies have been falling short, like big blockbuster movies have been ass, but video games, big budget, indie, they've been slapping. If you like Japanese RPGs, it's definitely made in the style of a Persona, Final Fantasy, some Final Fantasies, I guess. The vibes are vibing, man. I'm nowhere near done. I barely started it. I'm where I'm meant to be, just when I'm in a better emotional state. Also, update from my last Get Rid of Me. I was talking about Yote and Tsushima, Ghost of Tsushima. I did play a little bit of Yote, but I've decided to go back to Tsushima. Because Tsushima I've had for years and I just, for some reason, I think I got overwhelmed with the sheer amount of side quests. That made me go, I don't know where to go or where to start, blah, blah, blah. But now that I kind of got a feel for everything, you can kind of navigate the story as much as you would like. I'm saying this 4 years after the game came out. People liked it for a reason. It's a great game. I did finish it. I've gotten better at parrying. And I also had the director's cut, so I finished the main story of the director's cut too. It's really good. If you don't know the story of Ghost of Tsushima, wow, I'm giving you game lore. I'm a gamer girl. I'm probably giving it incorrectly. It's essentially made an homage to a lot of samurai classic stories and film, Kurosawa inspired and stuff like that. If you don't know what Ghost of Tsushima is about, you're 5 years late. And you're gonna get a bad retelling of what it's about by yours truly, Miss Gamer Girl. The base game. Because I also played the director's cut and I really like elements of the director's cut because it brings more to the main character himself, Jin Sakai. But as far as the base game, it's about the last remaining samurai of the Sakai clan, Jin Sakai, and he's the main character. And he's taken in by his uncle, Lord Shimura, and they go to fight the Mongol invasion upon Tsushima Island. Everybody's killed but Jin, and the uncle is kidnapped by the Mongols. He's saved by a thief named Yuna. From there, he meets and reunites with people from his past, of his upbringing, who taught him how to fight, taught him how to be a leader. He's betrayed. I'm trying to be a little vague. He's betrayed by old friends of his. And basically the entire story is just the winding awfulness of war and the loss of war, the gray areas of war. And the game loves to get you attached to somebody and then kill them. They love to, they on that JJK shit. They love getting you attached to a person and then chopping that nigga head off. Or having them just die serenely in the middle of conversation. Loves it. Probably shouldn't have been playing that either in a bad headspace, but it was good. It was so good. And the director's cut, if you haven't played that, which is like a whole other island that you can go on, which is like easily an extra 2-3 hours maybe of content. At the end of the main story, he is a fugitive of the Shogun. He's not cool with the Shogun. At the end, you may or may not have killed your uncle. Spoiler. And things aren't great. But you hear that the Mongols are now also trying to take over a different island called Iki Island, which is where Jin's father conquered, subjugating, making a fort there, taking over this area that prior to that was, for all we know, peaceful farmers, unarmed people. So they don't like samurai. They're not cool with samurai, and they certainly don't fuck with the Sakai people. So if Jin Sakai is coming over there, yeah, they're not cool with it. The Mongols are invading now. Jin's father has long been dead. Jin has to reckon with and confront the history he had with his father, who taught him to be a monster, essentially, to subjugate these people who were unarmed. And now he's working with the people that his father fucked over. He's working with the people that killed his father. He watched his father die. And now he has to reckon with the fact that his father was a monster, but he was also his father. He also isn't his father and doesn't believe in the things that his father has done. I've been really liking this. This is the HD skin cover, full cover from Makeup Forever. For a long time, I wasn't doing full coverage concealers. And the way that my under eyes are set up these days, I don't know if it's just getting older or just not sleeping great, or the fact that I am chronically dehydrated all the time because I do not drink water nearly enough. But my dark circles have been crazy. Me not drinking water has become a bit of a meme around my social circles. It's gotten to the point that my boyfriend doesn't even ask if I've drunk water very often. He just gives me a bottle because he knows I have not. There's water in a Red Bull. Y'all want me to sleep, be hydrated, eat vegetables, have a social life, exercise, keep your house clean. Too much. I sound like I'm joking, but not really. That's really where I'm at. And like, I another thing I need to do is get on some stimulants, because like it's gotten to the point that it's like, oh, I can't keep doing this. Oh God, this stuff stinks so bad. I said this before, I love this product, the Ilia skin tint, but it smells like fucking Play-Doh. It smells so goddamn bad. Please, I don't know what you can do about it or if that would change the formula, but fuck. And it goes away quickly enough, but Jesus Christ. And also, I think the thing about the director's cut, it also inadvertently is very similar to the character that I made in my D&D campaign. And people have asked me, Kendall, talk more about your D&D campaign. And I'm like, no, you guys don't want to hear about it. Okay, yes I do. So my D&D campaign is called Fallen Gods. And essentially, it is the story of a ragtag team of friends who meet because they all, in some way or another, are related to and reincarnations of the gods. And it's very like Greek mythology. So-and-so's related to so-and-so and probably fucking their brother or something. Those are the gods. And then we are born with thoughts and memories of our lives as the gods and are venturing to figure out how to ascend back to the throne. So we have who we were as gods, and then we have the mortal form that we're kind of like vibing in. That mortal form has its own stories and strife and frustrations. My character is a tiefling named Zeth, and I've talked about her a little bit. We made like minis of our character, and that's really cool, but her name is Zeth, and she is the daughter of a colonial power, and she's the middle child, grew up and realized that her mother is a fucking monster. She leaves, decides to become a mercenary. At least she can use her background in war for good or neutral purposes. I will say it's interesting because when I made this character, I wanted her to be a bad bitch, but so much of me, so much of my personality comes out. Like, she's not this like fearless bad bitch woman character that I wanted her to be. She's actually quite unsure and kind of driven by her aversions, like driven by the things that she doesn't want. She doesn't want to be her mom. She doesn't want to be what her family was. And I think as she grows as a character, the big thing for me, the person creating this character, is like, maybe it's not that she was always a bad bitch. Maybe she has to learn how to be. And though that wasn't my initial intent, or maybe she doesn't need to be a bad bitch. I think that's part of it. It's like, sure, I wanted her to be like a Jessica Rabbit, this like seductress, or this like dark, brooding, yeah, Raven, or Robin, even from One Piece. And she's like none of those things. I think she's me. She's awkward and uncomfortable and anxious and angry. It's funny how that works, eh? But I will say there is something incredibly therapeutic about D&D that I didn't expect. It's definitely, I get why people do it now. Like, and I've talked about this before. Like, I didn't know anything about D&D really until I met my boyfriend, who is our DM. It's gotten me a lot closer to his friends. Now it doesn't feel like his friends. It feels like our friends, and that's really nice. It feels therapeutic. It feels like scrutinizing some parts of yourself in this character. And sometimes that can get really raw and vulnerable. Like, there's definitely been like high octane moments where characters are arguing with each other. Like, my boyfriend's dog thought we were actually arguing, and he came over. He was like, "Stop it." I was like, no, we're not actually arguing. Our characters are working through a thing. I remember saying in a video where I was talking a little bit about my character is that I wanted them to have a love arc, and I think it's starting a little bit. And even that is different than I wanted it to be, in the sense, because again, I envisioned her as this like strong, assured person. That's not, at least currently, isn't who she is. So even her romance arc isn't this very like seductive. It's kind of clumsy and charming in that way. And instead of saying these like loving things or seductive things or that, it's more so like basking in comfortable silence. And again, that was not the plan, if there was one even. That's not how I envisioned it, I should say. But I like it. I feel like it makes sense, both for her and for me. Why am I getting teary-eyed? I'm also, oh, they have me on so many hormones! Jesus! Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on the shitting on protesters thing. Can you fucking imagine if Obama had shared a fucking video of him flying a plane and shitting on... It would have his head, okay? This place is so fucked. I hate it here. Like, I genuinely do. And then I saw this TikTok that was really funny because it really encapsulated my thoughts as a Black person. Which is, I hate it here. I should leave. Where the fuck am I gonna go? Also, the people I care about are here. The people I love are here. The people that piss me off in my family are here. And those are often the same people. Just join us as a limb. Damn, 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 damn. Ooh, yeah. For lip gloss, we're doing the Buxom Plump Shot in Celestial Nude. Makeup Forever Limitless Brown. All right, that's all for today, folks. Thanks for getting ready with me, but also for just listening to me crash out. And I hope you don't mind the get ready with me, considering you guys were very vocal about like, yes, do more get ready with me, bitch. And I'm like, okay. Shit. I'll see you guys next time.